with HIT in cardiopulmonary bypass. Following cardiopulmonary bypass, this is from this paper from Poplar and co-workers in 1999. Before extracorporeal circulation, there is almost no incidence of positivity with this. This is for Wool antibodies, and this is for IgG. There is no IgG. 3 to 5 days after, few patients seroconvert and develop IgGs, and 7 to 10 days after, a proportion between 30 and 50% of patients have antibodies, and many of them also have IgG. Okay, and HIT can be suspected from the clinical presentation in some of these patients, and it is sometimes very difficult to make the right diagnosis. This slide shows the normal change of platelet count following cardiopulmonary bypass in patients without antibodies, heparin dependent, and it is the mean of 245 patients. And there is first a platelet fall, which can go close to 100 giga per liter in the average, but with a very broad dispersion. And progressively, this platelet count normalizes, but always with a very broad dispersion among patients. And patients who develop HIT, they have a biphasic pattern or a monophasic pattern with remaining low platelet count. And here you have again the normal range with the normal change, the average, and here is a patient who had a normal profile and then an abrupt fall of platelet counts, and these patients were confirmed to have HIT. And another pattern was identified in one patient with the platelet count which remain at a very low value and then start again to fall. And this patient also had HIT. In this CPB, we have also to be very attentive to the change in platelet count profile, especially when there is an abrupt fall, or when there is a remaining basic value for platelet counts. And I will continue now with some case studies, typical case studies, and some atypical case studies before concluding my presentation and starting the discussion. So this slide from Warkanting shows, Warkanting has invested a lot of time and a lot of effort in promoting understanding of HIT and doing some educational training. So we have a lot of data coming from him, especially in the clinical field. And so, of course, I have many slides coming from his papers. This slide shows, the post-operative changes in platelet count, also with a very broad dispersion, with some normal platelet counts to very high platelet counts, and here it is the average. And some cases of HIT with thrombosis, with very variable presentations, arterial or venous at different sites, are shown here. And this is the typical kinetics of the platelet fall in patients developing HIT in the post-operative period. When this panel was analyzed according to patients treated with unfractionated heparin or low molecular weight heparin, okay, we have this kind of slide, okay, and with always the dash lines are for low molecular weight heparin, and the plain lines for unfractionated heparin. And interestingly, here, this patient which had a non-definite suspicion of heat here, had a bolus of heparin, and here there was a very abrupt fall of platelet counts produced by heparin-dependent antibodies, which went out again when heparin was withdrawn. So this slide shows the two different presentations of heat, the typical onset with a progressive platelet fall, with the different data which were already presented formally, and here a much rapid onset, which when the patient is already sensitized to heparin-dependent antibodies, and the platelet fall can be much more abrupt. So it means that sometimes having a platelet count only 1 day every 2 days is not enough for diagnosing this kind of rapid onset, even it can be sufficient in this case. And when there is a high-risk onset or a suspicion of former heat, probably platelet count must be done at least 1 time a day. An interesting case from Grenacher here is this patient who developed heat, and the heparin therapy was replaced by Hiridine, and then by Coumadin with a coverage with Hiridine for several days in order to wait for the stable anticoagulation with Coumadin. And when this patient, when heparin was withdrawn, you can see then that the platelets normalize, okay? And the efficacy of lepirudine was tested using APTT, okay? And then the APTT progressively stabilized, and there was on day 10, on day 6, 7, then a progressive increase in APTT value, and of course APTT normalized when lepirudine was discontinued. And interestingly, this patient start to develop antibodies to iridine. So, you know, then the drug which was used as a substitute to heparin for treating the heparin-dependent antibodies induce hiridine-dependent antibodies. The clinical association of these hiridine-dependent antibodies is not well documented, even if some very severe allergic cases have been reported. And fortunately, this patient, you know, had a Coumadin treatment which was started on day 6, and then the lepirudine therapy could be stopped on day 10, and here he was normally anticoagulated.